Hello and welcome to our last unit. Now we're talking about the final assignment, and by the time you're watching this video, you should have already read about the final assignment. So if you haven't done so, please go first and watch the document for the assignment itself. So go to the assignment session, the assignment column, and there you are going to find the description of the assignment. Okay, so once you do that, then you come and see this video. Final assignment is about a negotiation. It's a multi-factor negotiation, and it's between two different companies. On one side, we have Riggs. On the other one, we have Vericomp. Vericomp is a corporation that manufactures microchips for computers, computer chips. So when you do this, when you manufacture computer chips, you use one of your most important elements is silicon. And silicon, in order to process the silicon, you need solvents. And these solvents are highly contaminating. So they're hazardous materials. So for all these corporations, when they manufacture the microchips, they have to call the service for some of the companies, and these companies come and they collect these hazardous solvents after the process in order to take them away and dispose them properly. And this is very, very, very expensive. So this kind of corporations that manufacture microchips, they know that they have another choice. Not necessarily that they have to pay somebody to come and pick up those disposals, but they can also buy a machine that recycles the solvents. And by recycling the solvents, this machine, on one side, you get rid of almost all the disposal, and it's very expensive to dispose of. But also, you are able to recycle your solvents and then use them again in your process, saving a little bit more money there. So Riggs-Vericomp is the company that manufactures these machines, recycling machines. So this negotiation is about Riggs and Vericomp sitting at the table to negotiate the conditions for this operation. Now, you are going to negotiate with four elements, and I'm going to explain briefly the four elements. Number one, price. Yes, the price of the machine. How much are you going to buy? Are you going to pay? How much are you going to charge for the machine itself? Okay? That's number one, the price. Number two, the payment schedule. Let me explain you how this payment schedule thing works. Most of the operations with very, very expensive equipment, people don't, the companies, they don't pay cash because it would be almost impossible to pay cash. So there's a non-written rule where whenever you are a company's buying or selling very expensive equipment, they actually agree on paying this equipment in installments. You pay it in maybe 2 years or 1 year or 3 years, whatever is applicable, with no interest. There's no interest rate. But you can choose, you can negotiate the way you're going to make the payments. The first option is cash. We said, forget about cash. Nobody uses cash in this kind of operation. So cash is not accepted. Okay, so option number one, front loaded. This means at the beginning of the credit line, your payments are big. At the end, payments are low. Level means throughout all the credit, payments are going to be exactly the same. And then we have backloaded. Backloaded means at the beginning of the credit, payments are very low. At the end of the credit, payments are big. Okay? Now, depending on the agreement is the real impact of the purchase. Let's say I'm just making up the numbers. Let's say that you agree on buying the machine you're buying, and you buy the machine in $1 million. Okay, so I'm just making up numbers. Uh, so $1 million, but then if you agreed on front loaded, this means because you're buying, and it's not very good to make the big payments at the beginning, but that's what you agree on. So that means that at the beginning, the payments are going to be big. So at the end, payments are going to be low. But anyways, you are paying you're paying without interest. So that means that you're saving your company some money. So if you agreed on $1 million, really at the end, you're not paying 1 million. What you're paying is less than $1 million because of the credit line with no interest. So if you agreed on front loaded, maybe the real impact would be 90%. So it's like you paid 90%. If you're level, maybe it's like you paid 87%. And if you are backloaded, oh, maybe it's like you paid 82%. Okay? And the same thing applies if you're selling. If you're selling the machine in 1 million because you're giving installments with no interest, that means you're really selling the machine in less. Now, how big the impact is, it depends on if it's front-loaded, level, or back-loaded. Front-loaded, because you're receiving most of the money at the beginning, maybe you sold the machine in 92%. Level, well, maybe you sold the machine in 88%. Or backloaded, well, maybe you sold the machine in 85%. Okay, again, I'm making up the numbers. In order to measure the real impact, in your case, you have this chart. And this chart is going to tell you what the real number is going to be for you only. So have in mind, this chart is different for Riggs A. This chart is different for Vericomp B. So if you want to know the real value, you have to bring the price that you agreed on here, and then take it to the column of front-loaded, level, or back-loaded. And this number here is going to tell you exactly what the real impact for you is. Okay, so this is the price that you agreed on, and this is actually the real impact for your company. Okay? Now, another element for negotiations is going to be the another element for negotiation is going to be the service. The machine needs service. Okay, so Riggs is going to offer Vericomp a service pack. You have three choices. Well, actually, you have four. Service pack 1 means nothing, and there's no price for it because it includes nothing. So then you have service pack 2 that includes some of the service maintenance. Service pack 3 includes some reparations and some maintenance on a bigger scale. And then you have service pack number 4, which includes everything. It's the whole spectrum of the service. Now, Vericomp, you are buying the machine, so you are going to have to give service to the machine. However, you don't have to pay the service to Riggs. You can also pay the service to another company that provides that same service. There is not going to be any difference between warranties or whatever. So there's no pressure from Riggs regarding the warranty. You have to have the service with me, otherwise you're not going to receive the warranty, whatever. No, it's a matter of price. Okay? So, in your case, you're going to find the price for service package number 2, service package number 3, and service package number 4. However, please be careful here. If you are Riggs A, the prices for the service package is not the price you are going to sell that service. That is your cost. This is how much it costs you to provide that service. Now, if you're Vericomp, this price here is not the price that you are going to pay to Riggs. It is the price you would pay to somebody else outside, to another company outside. So again, Riggs, the price for the service package that you have listed is your cost, is not the price you're going to charge. Vericomp, the price of the service you have listed, which of course is different than the one that Riggs has, is not the price you're going to pay to Riggs. It's how much you would pay to the other company outside. So if Riggs gives you a better price, you can buy it from them. But if Riggs pretends to sell you a service package with a higher price than the one you would pay outside, forget it. Don't buy it from them. Okay? Now, the last element we have to negotiate is delivery date. I'm not going to mention general things about the delivery date because the impact of the delivery date has different meanings, either for Riggs or Vericomp. You can read it in your case. It tells you if you are Riggs, this is what applies to you regarding the delivery date. If you're Vericomp, this is what applies to you regarding the delivery date. Okay, so this is it. Have in mind that, and this is maybe the most important part, as your case tells you, there was already another negotiation that took place some time ago between Riggs and Vericomp. At that time, one representative from Vericomp and another representative from Riggs, they sat down at the table and they talked about one deal. Nominal price for the machine, 5 million. Service standard, which means zero, nothing. Payment schedule, backloaded. And delivery date 6 months from now. Okay? So, your boss is telling you, if you don't reach an agreement with Vericomp or with Riggs at this time, that doesn't mean we're not going to buy the machine. That means if you don't reach an agreement, we're buying the machine under these conditions. So this is your partner. If you don't reach an agreement with Vericomp or with Riggs in this new negotiation, that means the machine is still going to be bought. The operation will take place, but with these conditions. So you're not negotiating to buy, you're not negotiating to sell the machine. Your negotiation is, the objective of your negotiation is to get a better deal than this one. If you have a better deal than this one, you can sign an agreement. Okay? If you don't reach an agreement, this is going to stay. So the operation will still take place. Okay? So this is very important because you have to understand what your objective is. Your objective is to get a better negotiation than this. Now, if you're buying that means you want to pay less. If you're selling, that means you want to collect more. Is it possible? Yes, it is. It is not easy, but you will find a way. Remember, you are using four elements, and the combination of these different four elements, they are the ones who will provide you the possibility to establish a better agreement. Now, before we go, you also have to download what it's called the box format. This is the box format. The box format is going to help you. Please have in mind that there are different box formats. You have to download only yours. Don't download the one for the other side. Okay? So in the box format, it says it helps you to understand if whatever proposal you're making, the impact of that proposal is better for you or not. So in the first box, very important, pay attention here. People make mistakes here. In the first box, you have to put, this is only for you. This is not the one you're going to negotiate with. This is for you only. In the first box, you put the price of the machine you are negotiating, already including the price of the service agreement. So if the price of the machine is 4 million and the service agreement is 1 million, 5 million, that's the number here. But you have to bring this number from the payment schedule chart. So if the number is 5, you don't put 5 here. You go to the payment schedule, and according to if it's either front-loaded, back-loaded, or level, that number from the chart, you put that number here. Okay? First chart. Second chart, and in the other chart, it's, remember, if you sold a service agreement, you need to deduct then your cost of the service agreement. Okay? So you deduct the cost of the service agreement. If you, but remember, the price of the service agreement you sold is here. But in the other box, you're putting your cost of the service agreement. Okay? Now, if you are buying, then the cost of the service agreement you're going to pay is going to be in the top, of course, because I said the price of the machine, including the service agreement, has to be here after the chart. But then the service agreement, you are going to take off how much you saved, because now you are not buying that service agreement from the other guy outside. So remember, you have that number in your papers. Okay? Now, and then you are going to operate the whatever money you have to put here if in case the delivery is right now or in 6 months, depending on what your text tells you. Then at the end, the last box, it tells you this number here has to be lower or has to be higher, depending on if you're buying or selling, than whatever price it says here, because this is your BATNA. If you're selling, you cannot sell for less than your BATNA. If you're buying, you cannot buy for more than your BATNA. Okay? So this is the explanation of this piece of paper. Now, I hope you were able to understand the full dynamics. And remember, get started as soon as you can, because you are going to need some time to do this. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure having you here in the course. And I will be submitting your results. Thank you.